know if I have ever seen a more painful collapse than what we are witnessing right now in Dallas. And I have spent years following the New Orleans Pelicans, a franchise synonymous with disappointment and collapse. One of the reasons that I got so frustrated with the Pelicans, besides the obvious incompetence, it was the overwhelming softness of this franchise. Have you guys ever seen the Jingleheimer Junction skit from Saturday Night Live? It's old. It's probably from the late 90s, early 2000s, back when Saturday Night Live was an actual comedy show. Tim Meadows plays the role of Mr. Jingleheimer, which would represent Pelicans owner Gail Benson. Will Ferrell, Cameron Diaz, Horatio Sanz, and someone else, they play these goofy dumbasses wearing shirts with one letter on each shirt. The letters are F-U-C-K. Friendship, unity, caring, kindness. They dance around like a doofus trying to spell the obvious word, while Mr. Jingleheimer does everything he can to stop them. It is the perfect illustration of the New Orleans Pelicans. Compassion, joy, mindfulness. The Dallas Mavericks were different. They had a roster full of assassins who were hungry to actually win. They have been battling through injuries all season, but they were still finding ways to win games. Kyrie Irving literally carried a skeleton crew to a win in Boston back in January. No matter who was on the floor, Jason Kidd was getting max effort out of his players. Everyone was just waiting for Luka to return, and the Mavs, they would make another late season push. But on the morning of February 1st, everything changed. Nico Harrison sent Luka to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. Tony! And ever since, the organization has been flying a plane with broken wings, barely staying airborne. Monday night, the plane finally crashed into the wilderness. Kyrie Irving tore his ACL in the first quarter against the Kings. And just like that, this magical run for the Dallas Mavericks, it is over. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. If you happen to stumble upon this video, be sure to check out my main channel, Behind the Line. Link to the main channels in the description below. I hope Kyrie Irving can return by November or December. While ACL injuries are serious, they're not as devastating as they were in the 90s or early 2000s. Hell, Kendrick Perkins, he tore his ACL in the NBA Finals back in 2010, and he was back by January, 6 months. That would be best case scenario for Dallas. Worst case scenario, Kyrie Irving's out for a full year, and he doesn't return until March 2026. In that case, the Mavs could possibly be looking at a full rebuild. But KC, they still have Anthony Davis and Klay Thompson. Yeah, two guys who rely on others offensively. I watched Anthony Davis for 7 years in New Orleans. You know when he was most effective, most dominant? When he was playing alongside Rondo, one of the best point guards in the league. With Kyrie out, the Mavs don't have a facilitator offensively. That's why Jason Kidd was playing him 40 minutes a night the last 6 or 7 weeks. Dallas went from having depth at the guard position to having no guards. Hell, they don't even have bigs right now because they're all on IR. This is a disaster in Dallas, and the worst part about it is a self-inflicted disaster. I don't believe the conspiracy theories. I don't believe that the organization traded Luka Doncic to intentionally tank the franchise. I think this was more of a personal decision. I don't think ownership and Nico Harrison really liked Luka Doncic. They thought he was lazy. They thought he was careless. They didn't think he took his conditioning seriously. In their defense, those are legitimate concerns, but they are legitimate concerns with most young stars in this league. Pelicans have the same concerns with Zion Williamson, but they're not trading his ass. You know who they traded? Brandon Ingram, the role player who disguised himself as a star. They don't trade the real star. If things had worked out differently, if Anthony Davis and Daniel Gafford had stayed healthy and the Mavs were contenders in the Western Conference, do I think all this backlash and outrage would have subsided? Yeah. But the problem for Nico Harrison, everything fell apart. Obviously, he can't help the injuries, and even if Luka was still here, the Mavs would be depleted. But as is always the case, that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the perception. And a sizable portion of this fan base, they believe that ownership, management are at war with them. They are raising season ticket prices next year. Fans were being thrown out of the arena. They traded away their homegrown superstar, the most beloved player in Dallas. And what are fans getting in return? A roster full of G League players and fringe NBA players who will lose damn near every game the rest of the season. I hope Nico Harrison believes in God because he needs him right now. He better be praying that Kyrie Irving can return early next season. Otherwise, this is only the beginning. You could potentially be looking at a rebuild and you don't have draft picks. And this all started because you didn't like one of the best players in the league. Someone please make it make sense. When Luka was traded, I tried to be positive about it, but there's just no reason to be positive. Mavs are screwed. This is a flaming ass fire. Give me your thoughts. Is it possible for Kyrie to return early next season? If not, and Kyrie is out 9, 12 months, are the Mavs looking at a rebuild? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys on the main channel.